Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá, in collaboration with the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute and the Texas Tech University, with the financing of the National Secretariat of Science, Technology and Innovation, (CENOCIT), are developing the project Chronology of Heavy Metals in Sediments and Determination of the Concentration of these metals, water, sediment and muscle tissue of the Crocodylus Acutus in the marine coastal environments of the Golfs of Chiriquí and Montijo. A two-phase study, 2 months each, total budget of $331,635. Contribution of CENOCIT for $120,000. The Isthmus of Panama has great reaches between its coastal zones of the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, being the Pacific Ocean the more dynamic in the region. It presents geological variations of extension and dimension in the continental platform between the Gulf of Chiriquí and the Gulf of Panama. Within the Gulf of Chiriquí, there are important sites such as the Coiba National Park, declared a Natural World Heritage Site by UNESCO since 2005. On the other side, the Gulf of Montijo, a wetland of international importance declared a Ramsar site since 1990 and a protected zone in 1994. Even though the international ecological importance of these two sites, both of them have been affected by anthropogenic activities such as agriculture, tannery, and fishery, which add heavy metals directly to the body of water or indirectly by the runoff. Given that there is not sufficient bibliography at a national level regarding environmental pollutants that raise great concern as to the toxicity of heavy metals, its distribution in the marine and coastal environments, this arises a great necessity to contribute through new research results with solutions for the preservation of marine environments and their biodiversity, especially those species that are used as food for human and animals. General objectives: to evaluate the historic and current concentration of heavy metals in marine coastal environments in the Gulfs of Chiriquí and Montijo, as well as in the American crocodile, Crocodylus Acutus. Consider a bioindicator of the pollution of these metals. Specific objectives: determine the rate of sedimentation in the sediments of the Gulf of Chiriquí and Montijo to carry out a chronological evaluation of the concentration of heavy metals, chromium, cadmium, copper, and lead in the last 100 years. Determine the current conditions of the marine coastal environments of the Gulf of Chiriquí and the Gulf of Montijo in accordance with the circulation patterns, the stratification of water column, and the concentration of heavy metals in the marine sediments, soils, and water. Evaluate the establishment of the Crocodylus Acutus, maximum predator of the trophic chain, as bioindicator of the pollution by heavy metals. Transfer the technical knowledge of hydrographic sampling, the recollection and analysis of heavy metals concentrations, and the radioactive techniques for the chronological determination of sedimentary cores to bachelor, master, and doctoral students. Disseminate any knowledge acquired to the national and international scientific community regarding any methodology used, and to decision-making public institutions for the use of the information as scientific basis for the enactment of laws, rules, and decrees, and finally to inhabitants to involve them in the effects of pollution by heavy metals and its minimization. Coiba National Park and the Montijo and the Port of Montijo. The area of study was chosen given that it includes sites which are under different management categories, from a World Heritage Site as the Coiba National Park to sites of agricultural and touristic development having a high anthropogenic impact, such as the Port of Montijo. This diversity in the policies for the management and the condition of preservation of ecosystems will not only allow to identification of current ecological problems and the prediction of future impacts, but also to know the difference between natural fluctuations and the anthropogenic changes affecting the levels of heavy metals. Oceanography methodology. In September 2016, oceanographic cruisers were carried out for 13 continuous hours in order to determine the hydrodynamic of the zone. In total, there were 4 cruisers distributed between the Gulf of Montijo and Bahía Damas in the island of Coiba. The first tour was carried out in September 2016 during the rainy season. The speed of water was obtained with an acoustic Doppler current profiler, and the salinity in the column of water was obtained with the pressure, temperature, and conductivity meter (CTD). This is to be carried out during the rainy and dry season. Studies of heavy metals in crocodile tissue. In this project, the importance that the crocodile, a reptile ichthyosaur animal that can live in salt water as well as fresh water, has for this study is highlighted. It will be used in this investigation project as a bioindicator of the pollution by heavy metals. For the sampling of the crocodile, the beaches of El Maria, Playa Blanca, will be covered in food for 2 weeks, every 4 months for a period of 12 months. With a 1,000 candles lamp, tapetum lucidum will be lit in order to blind the animal with the light and catch it with fastening rods. The movement of animals will be restrained with ropes that will be tied up to its snout. Body measures will be taken. Total length, body length, head length, and width, interocular distance phase. The effort in the capture shall take no more than 15 minutes per individual sighted. Individuals shall be marked by cutting double and single scales from the tail. The scales will be cut deep to allow the taking of muscle tissue. Samples will be kept in cold and will be frozen until its arrival to the laboratory. Heavy metals will be extracted from the samples and the quantification shall be made by the ICP-OES technique. Dating of sediments by the LED 2010 technique. In this sediment chronological studies, the LED 2010 technique will be used to determine the behavior of metals in the last 100 years, using nuclear techniques to such end. Afterwards, these results will be compared with the age of the crocodiles. Subsequently, the transfer factor may be calculated in order to determine the accumulation of copper, cadmium, chrome, and lead from the abiotic environment of the crocodiles. The results will have an impact on the human and animal health sector, food security, and the exportation of the marine environment products. The study will have an impact in the country, given that through Senecid and its capacity to promote the research in tropical marine coastal ecology, it will contribute to the solution of problems for humans and ecological health from a framework for international cooperation. Framework for International Cooperation. Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá, the National Secretariat of Science, Technology and Innovation, Senecid, the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, the Texas Tech University.